Hello everybody, James with Love My Pups, my breeder supply. So, difficult times, we're all battling this stay at home, hunker down, keep away from other people, and while that's going on, we're still breeding dogs, and the demand for puppies has been great. So for those of you who are thinking about breeding your dog, one of the problems is it may be difficult to get into the vet to get progesterone tests done. So I want to have a whole conversation about timing the AI and what how you can go about this even if you can't get your vet involved. Because this is the way we used to do it. All right, so this is a graph of progesterone levels. So every dog, when it goes into heat, its progesterone level before heat is very low, less than 1. It starts to climb, it goes up to a number that stays very high, above 20, could be 30, 40, 50, 60, and it remains high for about 2 months, regardless of whether the dog has been bred or not. It then takes a rapid decline, and if it's pregnant, the dog has puppies around day 61 after the time we AI'd, about day 70 from the beginning of heat. So I want to go over this graph, and I want to talk about how you can time the right time to AI just off other things other than the progesterone level. I'm assuming that you can't go to the vet. Well, let's talk about a perfect world. A perfect world would be that you monitor the dog first signs of heat, we count that as day 0, write that down in your calendar, and then keep charting what's going on with this dog in terms of her blood discharge card. So what you'll see on most dogs is that about day 9, that's right here on the graph, day 9, about day 9 is about the time that most dogs will ovulate. And what you'll see is if you're looking at their blood discharge color, for most dogs, it'll be a few drops of blood on the ground, very red. Continue to drop very red blood. You'll see it if they've got some panties on. You'll see in the panties, on the bedding, on the floor. You'll see these bright red drops of blood that start to lighten up in both the quantity of blood that you see and definitely the color becomes much lighter about this time right here when they're ovulating. So this is a great way, initial way of trying to time the whole AI is just by watching blood color. So typically the dog at this point, about ovulation, the blood color has got much pinker in color, strawberry pinky color. And over the next few days is the time that eggs have to get to the right place to be mature enough to be fertilized. Around day 11 is about the starting point for AI for most dogs. Not all dogs, but most dogs. And at that point, you may see the color may have completely disappeared. There may be no blood present. Now, the unfortunate thing is some dogs continue to bleed through this entire process for the next 3 weeks, and so this doesn't work for all dogs. And that's why the progesterone level, if you can get a progesterone test done, that is the thing, that's the real marker. Progesterone level of 5 is ovulation. It goes up, hardly moves at all for the first 5 days. It's about 1 after 5 days, and it goes up 1 point every day that brings you to a level of 5 at about day 9, and then it doubles almost every day after that. So here, a day after it's an 8, the day after that it's at a 15. So it goes up really quickly, and we want to AI something around, starting at around a 10 and finishing up around a 15 to a 20. If you're going to do a surgical or transcervical, you actually AI a bit later, but I'm assuming that the vet's not available, so that's not even an option for you. So we're doing this off what we can do at home. So one thing you can do is you can go buy the test, the progesterone test you can run at home. If you go to www.targetvet.com, you can buy their target test, which does require that you draw blood, and I do have videos on this, but this test right here, you can actually do a progesterone test at home. It doesn't give you a physical number. What it does is, there's a white cylinder that is blue here, and is getting to a lighter blue here, and is gone white right here, and it will stay white from there on out. So you can use that test to pinpoint this transition point between right after ovulation and when it's time to AI. So I use that a lot This I like a lot. So that there is absolutely, you can go order that 2-day from targetvet.com. It's about 145 bucks, buys you 12 tests, and you do have to draw blood to run that test, and you do have to spin the blood down, but I've got videos on that, and you can use things like a ceiling fan to spin the blood down. So if you can't go to the vet, that is what I would do. But if you can't do that, and you don't want to draw blood, and you're not happy with that, then you time it off this. So let's get back to how you time this. So the first thing would be blood discharge colour. Number of days in, blood discharge colour. Then the next thing is, how is your female reacting to other dogs, specifically males? Typically this kind of area here, you'll see a dog that starts to see a swelling of its vulva, and it will start to be maybe humping on other females and males. The real key thing is how does she behave towards males? And what you're going to see is a marked change in the way that she will stand for a female. She will get into what is called standing heat, somewhere in here. Standing heat is where she will frisk around, play around with the male, do a little dance. By the way, I've got a video on this, and the video is called, what is the video called? Look at the piece of paper I wrote down. The video that I've got 2 videos, and one of them is named How to Tell when to breed your dog. So that video shows a couple of dogs running around, and it shows a dog that's right at the point ready to breed. So right in this area here, you're going to see the female will be dancing around, then she'll stop, and she'll turn her back, and she'll stick her butt end out and let the male lick on her. And the little tail that she has, if she's a Frenchie, will get moved off to the side. That's called flagging. And then, right in the point that you probably want to start your AIing, she will let the dog get up onto her back. The normal process is, lets her sniff, that's all she'll let do. Then she might let the dog up on her back for a few seconds, then walk away, or maybe even turn around and snap at the dog. Finally, the day comes where she will absolutely stand there and let him get up on her back and let him go to town on her. And if you're going to do a natural breeding, fine, let it happen. If it's a Frenchie, I recommend that you do an AI because it's a lot more controllable. But this is a great indicator from lack of blood, a dog that is receptive. We're about somewhere between day 11 and 13, 14. That is right in the window, and you're probably going to be successful. The next thing you can do is you can do what's called vaginal cytology. You can take a Q-tip, stick it up in the female's vulva, spin it around a little bit, take a slide, roll it out on a slide, stain the slide. If you don't have any stain, you can use food coloring. Look it under a microscope. And what you're looking for is the transition between cells that look kind of fairly round with a central dot in them. And it won't be, when you stain it, it won't be really obvious, but the dot will be kind of shaded. You'll see a definitive change between the outside of this structure, the cell, and the inside, that goes to a much more ragged looking shape, tends to be squares and polygons, that doesn't have any central thing at all. That is cornified. And when it's 100% cornified, that normally means that the dog is ready to be bred. Now, this is called vaginal cytology. This takes some experience, but certainly if you're seeing a lot of this and not much of this, the dog's in this area or over here or over here. If you're seeing this and none of this, the dog's somewhere in here. So this is not a bad way of deciding what the heck's going on. Okay. So what have we missed here? I think that's really I'm getting the point across to what I want to talk about. But basically, a dog that is stopped bleeding or is mostly pink in color, that is around day 10 through 15, that is receptive to the male, is probably the point that you should breed. How many times should you breed? I would recommend twice. Breed twice and 2 days apart. And that will give you a pretty good coverage, and it will not deplete the male. So that's what I would recommend that you do, starting when you start seeing somewhere around day 11, a day or two after you've seen blood colours start to lighten up, start your breeding, breed twice, 2 days apart. And then be prepared for the fact that you don't quite know what's going on here, and you never quite know when the day is for the C-section. So if you're going to do a C-section, because it's like a French bulldog, then look at my video on specifically how to time this event right here, because you don't want to get that in wrong. If you get that in wrong, then you can take puppies early and really have a bad day. You lose puppies over it. So another point about this is the vets in my area, they're all open. They all will take dogs in, but they just don't want to take the humans in. So I've got 5 vets in my area, all 5 of them are doing business, but they are doing business where they don't let the humans into the office. So you need to think about this part you've got complete control over. This part here, you want to make sure that somebody's available for you, because if you're having a C-section, you want to make sure they are available for a C-section. And hopefully, people who are breeding dogs today, which is the beginning of April, that we're talking about C-sections in June, that the whole world is a much easier place to be in, and this whole process of being sequestered has kind of lightened up a little bit. But that is speculation. Okay, a lot of information there. Hopefully that helps people. Text me, drop me lines if you think that there's more that I need to put in there. If you need more information, you're not sure what's going on. If you think I've got it wrong, just tell me, because I want to get it right. We appreciate you watching our videos as always. And the important thing is be good to your puppies and your dogs. Be safe, everybody. Bye.